Shave my beard and I instantly look like a child again.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode. Today we're going to talk about a couple things, a couple issues with the pens, some new design changes I've made, and some updates. So let's get into it. So, first thing to talk about, and probably the most important thing, the first batch of pens that I made, prototype here, but production. The first batch of pens that I made, when I did the cap design, this one, I think it was batches. Everyone's been notified of this issue, or anyone that's been affected by it has been notified by this issue. When I designed this first cap, I made the clearances really tight because I wanted to for the refill that goes into the end. I'll put a picture here so it makes more sense. Basically, I had to alter that design. When I was having issues on some of my beta pens, I noticed I had one of them that was leaking. It was basically like capillary action from the ink refill into the cap. And I was so concerned that other people were having that issue. So I sent emails to everybody that had one of these pens of this cap style. And obviously, I'll give you a brand new cap if you're having that issue. I haven't got a single email back from anybody that has this cap. So could have been just a freak issue on the one prototype I still have. So that's good. I'm happy with that. But I've since changed the design and rolled it into the production unit, and now there is no problems on the units I've tested, and I haven't heard anything from anybody else. But I like to be transparent about all that stuff because that's the thing. That's what happens with. I mean, even when I beta test these pens and when I run them out for like a few weeks or months at a time and kind of just put them through the ringer, there's still unforeseen issues, and I'm glad I was ahead of it, and I'm glad that no one's been affected by it. So that's awesome. Moving on. Another change that I've made, a slight change anyways, from the kind of first style units to the production style units that are currently shipping now. As you can see, there is a little bit of a size difference. Basically, when I built the first pen, or the first batch of pens that a lot of people have got, I designed it to, or a lot of people have purchased, got isn't the right word, a lot of people have purchased. I didn't want to use this piece with the space pen. This is a little plastic end that comes with the space pen. It basically bumps up to the same size, same form factor as all the other Parker style pens. I hate using plastic in pens, but I had enough requests from people that want to use different style refills in this pen. So I decided to lengthen the pen slightly, and that accommodates the regular space pen refill with this plastic little fiddly bit in the back. Honestly, it works just fine. You put it in the pen, you're never going to notice it's plastic. I just have some weird thing where I don't like to put that in pens, so I didn't at the start, but I do now. So that'll go in a space pen. It'll fit in this pen with that refill. Otherwise, if you just want to use if you just want to use a Parker style refill, you can just drop it in the pen. Both of them fit just fine. I find this is the one other issue I have. In the diameter, the little hole in the end of there, the space pens, when they're, as far as I can assume, once they're built and then I think they're clear coated, they're just ever so slightly wider than like a standard Parker style refill. So I bore these to fit a space pen tight, which means when you put your Parker in there, there's like maybe 5/10 of extra wiggle. You don't even notice it when you're writing with it, but so if you have one of these pens and you're dropping a space pen refill into it and it goes like click, like it's a tight fit, that's how it's supposed to be. Some of them will be loose. I find that even the batches of space pens I purchase, depending if I purchase them from like Fisher Canada and Fisher like .com US, wherever I get them, there seems to be a slight, I mean, we're talking probably like 2 to 5/10 of difference, and I just find it fits a little bit different in the ends. So I try to size it for the biggest refill that I have on hand, and that way it shouldn't be any issues in the future. Yeah, I don't know. I could just bore it out a little bit bigger and not have any issues, but I hate wobble in pen tips, so I try to make it as tight as I possibly can without being annoying and causing issues to change refills. The last thing that I did that has actually been a humongous time saver and let me build pen bodies a lot quicker is I've gone to a kind of CNC approach for making the body. I'll show you. So basically the pen blank looks like that when I cut them and machine them to size. And then I put them in the mill, which I'll put videos now, where the machine kind of does a turning operation. I'm using it as a mill turn application. I don't want to CNC my lathe because of other reasons. But I decided, why not use my CNC mill as a lathe? So that's what I've been using it for. And that basically just lets me crank out all these bodies like identically. They're all the same. The tolerance on them isn't perfect because of one major issue, which is again a problem of buying cheap and not buying good things. This is that part of, this is a 3/8 R8, call it. It's a part of that big set that I got from way back in the day overseas. A company wanted me to review it. It's the only review I've ever done on my channel, or paid review. I won't do them again because I don't like being held victim to a company. Not that I had to do a good review or a bad review, but I didn't do a good review and I didn't get any more things to review, and I don't plan on doing it because it's annoying. Aside, what this is a cheap 3/8 R8 collet, and you get what you pay for, as I figured out during the review. When they make these collets, you won't be able to see, but you basically have a machine bore in this one, and then the pull stud is a little bit wider. So there's a little section kind of in here where once the collet is made, they grind it to a precision fit for like a 3/8 end mill. So you have zero run out. This one, they obviously, I don't know if it was cast or when they rough machined it, they didn't have enough material left in the end of it, so that when they went for the final grinding, I'm assuming they do grinding for the final finishing, there wasn't enough material left to get it perfectly on center for grind. So when they ground it, they started grinding into the body, which means if you put a 3/8 inch end mill in there that only extends like an inch or two into the R8 end here, it's not going to be an issue because you're riding relatively on the ground surfaces. If you put it in a little bit further, on most collets, there'd be a relief at that point, so that anything that went past, like if you had a longer reach 3/8 end mill with a longer end shank on it, if it went further in, it wouldn't interfere with anything. This one does because it's poorly made. So when you put a longer, i.e. a pen body, when I put my pen body in as far as it'll go, or almost as far as it'll go, it starts to contact the unmachined surfaces on the inside. So once it gets tightened up, it puts a little bit of off-centerness into the, or it turns, it's not perfectly concentric when it spins. By a few thousandths of an inch, which is horrible in end mill land. Not so bad in my turning land because I'm rough turning it, but what that means is when I'm rough turning my pen blanks, when I'm rough turning these bodies, I can't turn them, I can't do a final finishing size on them. So basically I turn them to within like plus minus 2 to 5 thou, depending on how woggly it is when it's in there, and then I just finish it on the lathe. It's still a massive time saver because obviously all the measurements are still correct. My Z is perfect, but it just means that I can't do nice clean turning until I get a better 3/8 inch R8 collet, and there's literally one like a mile down the road, so I should just go get one. But I turned a big batch of these oversized and then just tuned them in on the lathe. Like I said, still saved me hours and hours of work, but another frickin' note: don't buy cheap crap because you get what you pay for. As always. So, what are the next bits that are coming out? What I tried doing last week is try taking some pen bodies and running them through my tumblers here, vibratory tumblers. Just experiment with some different surface finishes. Not where I want it yet. They're not performing as I need. Still messing with the media game. Tumbling in media seems to be like a dark art, so I'm trying to find something that works well without killing my edges and putting the finish I want on it. I'll be experimenting with that for a little bit more. The next pen set that I'll probably be doing or want to be releasing shortly here, now that I'm kind of ahead of the orders, I actually have some inventory in stock now, so I'm not just like building and selling, which is good. I'm going to do some patina work, and I want to do some coatings on it. I have done spray on like lacquer coatings in the past. They've held up decently well in my experience, but I want to do the higher end, Cerakote. I want to do clear Cerakote on these pens when I do the patina, because I think it's going to be a lot more robust of a coating, and for the amount I'm using, it's very expensive stuff, but I mean the amount you put on a pen, it's pretty negligible. So that I think will be a good upgrade and something I'm looking forward to doing. I don't know when I'll be releasing those. I'll also be doing probably some bronze and copper and all kinds of different flavors, and I'm going to actually be putting now some effort and work into messing around with dice. I've already been kind of playing with it on the computer, so that's the next thing I'm going to be working with. Yeah, that's all I have to say. I'm going to straighten you out. I'm going to carry on playing with what I'm playing with. I'm going to finish some more of these, and I will talk to you guys hopefully sooner than my last video, because this one was like 2 or 3 weeks, so I'd like to do it a little quicker. I just kind of got swamped with building, which is a good thing, but it just means less content for you, so I'll try to fix that. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.